The second D-Day that nobody remembers changed World War II forever. Operation Dragoon, southern France, August 1944. Everyone knows D-Day. June 6, 1944. Normandy, the beaches, the cliffs, the chaos. But what if I told you there was another D-Day? One just as massive, just as risky, and just as important. Yet almost nobody talks about it. In August 1944, while the world was still focused on the fighting in northern France, the Allies launched a second full-scale invasion of the country, this time in the south. It was called Operation Dragoon, and without it, World War II in Europe might have dragged on far longer than we realize. Most people believe the story goes like this. Normandy happened, Paris was liberated, and Germany collapsed soon after. A clean, simple story. But wars are never that simple. By mid-1944, Allied armies were pushing inland from Normandy, but they were running into a serious problem. They were winning battles, but losing fuel, ammunition, and supplies. Northern French ports were damaged, destroyed, or still in German hands. Every tank, every bullet, every ration had to be dragged across long, fragile supply lines. Something had to change. Southern France offered an answer. It had deep-water ports like Marseille and Toulon ports capable of feeding entire armies. If the Allies could capture them intact, they could flood Europe with men and material. But landing there meant opening a new front and stretching forces even thinner. Some Allied commanders wanted to cancel the plan. They argued everything should go into Normandy. Others believed the opposite, that everyone was watching Normandy, and that made southern France the perfect place to strike. The plan they approved was bold and risky. Land Allied forces along the French Riviera. Drop paratroopers behind enemy lines, cripple German defenses before they could react, and seize the ports before they could be destroyed. This invasion would look different from Normandy. Alongside American troops would be Free French forces fighting to liberate their homeland, African colonial soldiers from Algeria, Morocco, and Senegal. Paratroopers dropping into the darkness with no guarantee of support. It wasn't just another invasion, it was a return. On the night of August 14, 1944, the Mediterranean Sea was calm. Allied ships moved quietly through the dark, their lights blacked out. Above them, transport planes carried paratroopers toward southern France. Many of these men understood something important. If things went wrong here, history might never remember them at all. Just before dawn, American paratroopers jumped behind enemy lines. Some landed exactly where planned, others were scattered across vineyards, forests, and villages. Units were separated, radios failed, plans fell apart, so they adapted. Small groups formed on the ground. They ambushed German patrols, cut roads, and seized key hills. Confusion spread through German command as reports flooded in from all directions. By the time the sun rose, the Germans were already reacting instead of controlling the situation. Then the sea exploded into motion. Landing craft surged toward the beaches of southern France. Naval guns thundered from offshore, hammering coastal defenses. Smoke and dust rose along the shoreline. But something unexpected happened. German resistance was weaker than predicted. Some units were undermanned, others were disorganized by the airborne landings behind them. Allied troops hit the beaches and pushed inland with speed. Free French forces advanced with a sense of purpose that couldn't be taught. African colonial troops moved through hills and towns, clearing resistance with discipline and determination. This wasn't Normandy's brutal grind. This was momentum. As Allied forces moved inland, they achieved something critical. They didn't just defeat German units. They forced them to retreat, and that retreat had consequences. German commanders received orders to destroy the ports of Marseille and Toulon before withdrawing. Docks were mined, facilities prepared for demolition, bridges rigged to explode. The Allies raced against time. Street fighting erupted in towns and cities. French resistance fighters emerged from hiding, guiding troops and attacking. From within, German forces pulled back faster than planned. And then came the breakthrough. The ports were captured far quicker than anyone expected. Large sections of infrastructure survived. Within weeks, Marseille became one of the busiest supply ports in the entire war. Fuel poured into France. Ammunition followed. Tanks, trucks, and fresh troops rolled north toward the front lines. By late 1944, more than one-third of all Allied supplies in France were flowing through southern ports captured during Operation Dragoon. This changed everything. German forces retreating from southern France were driven north straight into Allied armies advancing from Normandy. They were squeezed from both sides. Escape routes collapsed. Resistance weakened faster than German commanders could replace it. Operation Dragoon didn't steal headlines. It didn't create iconic photos like Omaha Beach, but it quietly closed the trap. And yet, the men who fought there are rarely remembered. More than half of the French forces involved were colonial troops from Africa. They fought through mountains, towns, and fortified positions. They took heavy casualties. Many returned home with little recognition. History recorded the victory. It forgot who paid for it. Operation Dragoon worked because it did exactly what war requires. It solved the problem no one else wanted to talk about: logistics, supply, pressure from every direction. Wars aren't won by one dramatic moment. They're won by coordination, timing, and the ability to keep moving forward. Normandy opened the door. Operation Dragoon pushed it wide open. So yes, D-Day in Normandy was legendary. But this was the second D-Day, the one nobody remembers. The one that helped end the war in Europe. And sometimes the most important moments in history aren't the loudest ones there, the ones that quietly change everything. Subscribe for more untold but famous battles and other history unveiled stories. Don't enjoy alone, share. What else would you like us to cover next? Comment.